Tough end of a wishbone. Howdy.
Afternoon.
Left Larson sucking wind then, eh?
If that is the phrase.
Well, your little vacation riot's over now. Time to give back what you've hijacked off me.
Let's try the lunchbox.
Well, kill her!
Hey!
You morons! Let's go.
What the heck was that? What? That away. Probably just a fish. Maybe some fish, kid. Man, you have got to learn to chill. I'm going back inside. You coming? Steady. Here she goes.
We ready yet?
Welcome to the first level of Atlantis, Natla's Mines. Now, as you can see, Lara doesn't have any of her weapons, but she does still have the ammo, and that's because all the weapons have been taken away from her by Natla's sidekicks. So there's a lot of backtracking in this level. But first we want to come underneath this waterfall and round the corner here. Pull this lever, which will open a door back over this side. So there are only 3 enemies in this level. They're all humans, and they all have one of Lara's weapons. The first one has her magnums, the second her Uzis, and the last her shotgun. But you can also get another shotgun in the first secret of the level, and it's very similar to the magnums that you got off Pierre when you killed him. If you already had the magnums and you picked his up, then just nothing happens. Now if you collect the shotguns before you get your pistols back, or just the secret shotgun, not the shotguns, before you get the pistols back, then there's a little sequence break which allows you to keep the 3 fuses that we're going to collect, but it literally means nothing because you can't do anything with them. But if it does happen to you because you've gone a different route, you're still okay. So now you can come up here after opening that door. And you can come round this way. there you can see there's a building which is suspended by a crane, and with the 3 fuses we can lower that crane. So first pick up this large medipack, and then run through here, and this door will open for you. Now as you can see up there, there's a boulder. We want to do our best not to activate it. So there are 2 ways to do it. You can either climb up this wall here and then shimmy across, and as long as you don't climb up on that block there and you climb up further along, then it won't activate. Or you can just do a series of running jumps like this and run through. But make sure that you're right up against the wall, because if you try to run through this side, the ceiling's too low, so Lara won't fit through. Now, if you do fail that, and you're blocked by the boulder, don't worry, you can just reset the room. And I'll show you how in just a second. So pick up the fuse, and use the first save crystal. Avoid both of those boulders. And then to leave the room, because the door is now closed, just climb up from where the boulder you raced came from. And then you'll come back out here. And if you failed, that's all you have to do to reset the level. And if you go back through there, you'll get another chance. And you can keep doing that until you succeed. So after doing that, to open up the next part we need to go to, pull this block across to the building that's surrounded by the blockades. So you can jump onto the roof from there, or you can pull this block out one more time, which I'd recommend. Because then you can see it's underneath this hole, which we're going to be dropping through in a bit, and it just prevents you from taking very minimal damage. So it doesn't matter if you don't put it there. So now after dropping down, you can climb all the way back up. And pull this lever, which will move the boat at the start of the level. And as you can see there, it looks like there's a second boat, but the second boat isn't actually there. That's just the one that the one we saw move is replaced with, and the one that moved actually disappears. So now you can fall down here onto the block without taking damage. And we don't need to worry about running through there yet, because the door we need to go through isn't open. Instead, just make your way back to the room with the waterfall, which is a very long and relatively safe journey. Goodness, don't know what happened there. So then you can climb onto this boat and jump across and make your way over this block. Now you can see that this block can be moved. So we'll move that in just a second after picking up these magnum clips. So push that where you just found the magnum clips. And then do the same with the second one. And pull this block out to make yourself a pathway. pull this lever. So you can see there that the drill has now moved, which was in our way earlier. So now we're going to run behind that. Just round here. And push this block forwards twice. And then jump on top of it. And then jump up here. Pull yourself up to grab the Uzi clips. And pull this lever, which then opens the door in the room I said we don't need to go to yet. But just before making our way back, we're going to continue onwards into this room. Now be very careful. Walk very slowly to pick up this fuse. And you might have been able to see there on the right hand side of the screen, there's the cowboy that stole your magnums. Now he doesn't activate until you run onto this block ahead. You can either wait and activate him later, or I'm going to activate him now, but then run away. And all that does is when we come back later with our weapons, he'll be at the doorway waiting for us, which just makes it easier to find him and lock on, rather than start running around risking falling into lava and possibly getting shot while you run towards him. But he won't follow you all this way. So now you can make your way back to the room with the crane, which again is a long, very safe run back. Nearly there. There we are. And now come through here. You can see a conveyor belt there with the last fuse. Now that we've opened this door, we can pick up these Uzi clips and pull this lever to start the conveyor. Now in the room with the cowboy, we'll later have to drop down after taking him out, but you can do that first before doing this, and make your way over to the shotgun pickup. And if you do, when you come here, the conveyor will already be activated and moving, but you won't actually see the fuse, and you'll just have to pull that lever and the fuse will appear where I just picked it up from. And if you did do it in that order, when you come back, this will have already fallen, and there'll be like a shadow version of this still suspended in the air. And if you climb on top of the fallen one, you can then jump through the phantom one. Has no real use, but it looks pretty cool, because there's no collision. So now we're going to use the fuses, and each time we use one, you'll see that the crane lowers some more. There's the next one. And then the final one. Now you can pick up the magnum clips. And get the second of 7 save crystals in the level. Now when you come in, we'll find Lara's trusty dual pistols. And before you can actually use them, you'll try pressing the button and they won't pull out. You have to actually select them from the menu, and then you'll be able to use them again. Now climb on top of here. You can't actually walk up against the edge and press the action button. You have to jump and then grab, otherwise Lara won't pull herself up. And then come over here and pull yourself up again. And then you'll see that there's an alcove here that Lara can make her way to. And this door will open when you get close. Now when you run on this slope, that trapdoor is going to open. Just keep jumping backwards and forwards until it closes again. There you go. Now we can get the level's first secret, which is a large medipack and some Uzi clips. And then that lever opens the wooden gate we just walked through, so that we can make our way out. Then you can drop down here and come around this way. And you'll find yourself back in the waterfall room. Now you can use this save crystal that we saw earlier on. And now make your way back to take out the cowboy with your reclaimed pistols. Not quite sure how the pistols got there. Maybe they're not the same ones that Lara originally had. But nonetheless, they're ours now. So if you did activate the cowboy like I did earlier, just be prepared for him to be round this corner. And just stay up behind him as much as you can. And he has a lot of health. Be careful not to fall down the slope as well. Like that. I'm in a bit of a predicament here. There you go. Managed to save myself. Not sure how. Hopefully he'll die soon. There you go. And now you can pick up his magnums that he dropped. And now you can make your way along here. And drop down. You could have done this earlier, before taking him out if you wanted. If you wanted to take him out with a shotgun instead. So now use this save crystal. And you can either do a running jump over that slope there onto the block, but you'll take a little bit of damage. Or you can backstep off here and hold the action button after you pass the ledge so that you fall forward like this. It can take a little bit of practice, but once you get it, you'll be able to land on this ledge with the small medipack. If you want to do it the proper way, then just jump over to that block where you take damage and then shimmy across this way, and then you'd have to shimmy backwards like I am now. This is where you would have landed if you took the running jump. Now come around this way and shimmy across some more. And now if you came here without killing the cowboy, he can attack you while you shimmy across there. So instead, just walk up to this edge and take a running jump, and you'll be able to land there and get away quickly. Now be careful. Sliding down here. Now that lava that spouts up can actually hurt you if you get too close. Just keep your distance and come over here. I'll make a running jump to the right pillar, because you'll slide off the left one into the lava, and then take a running jump here. Now run and jump into this alcove, but do not run any further. As soon as you run past that slope, a boulder's going to come rolling from your left, and if you leave it too late, you will lose your chance to get this secret and the early shotgun. So, instead all you have to do is run and push the block. That's it. Now that you've done that, you're safe to get the secret, so you can hear the chime play. But if you did miss this, and the boulders rolled, without glitches, there's no way to get through here. So come along here, and drop down onto the track, to pick up some Uzi clips, the early shotgun. Not sure whether this is the one that was stolen off Lara, or the one we'll collect later was. But either way, this is a shotgun that she can use if you'd like. And then run along over here. Pick up the Uzi clips and the large medipack. And then make a safe drop just down there on the other side of the boulder, so that you can make your way back out. Now again, jump to the pillar on the right rather than the left, otherwise you'll slide off. Then jump to the middle one, and then jump to the pillar on the left, otherwise you'll slide into the lava. And now you're safe to come through. Be very careful jumping over this lava here, because if you touch it, it's an instant death. And then you're in a room with some explosive TNT. Now only this broken one will explode, but not for a while. First, what you need to do is pull it out one, then pull it to the side one. Oof, it's cold in my room. And then pull this out once. Make your way over it, and then push it the rest of the way. Because I think pushing is slightly faster than pulling. Might be wrong. But pushing is done in 3 increments, pulling is done in 4. But I don't know whether it's still the same amount of time, whether the 4 increments are shorter than the 3. So just push this one more time, and then you can make your way up here. You can push it one more if you don't want to do this diagonal jump. Now ignore this save crystal here for now. We're not going to use it just yet. If you want, you can use it now, but this section's relatively easy, and the section that comes afterwards will be a better place for your save. So walk to the edge here and jump onto this slope, and then wait for this boulder to come rolling down. And then walk to this edge and jump up here. Now run to the end of this corridor, and you'll find yourself back in the room where you fought the cowboy. Feel free to take him out now if you'd like, if you didn't earlier. And then pull this lever, and hear an explosion, and see the screen shake, and pick up the magnum clips. Now that explosion was the TNT that we moved earlier, so make your way back. Being very careful. There you go. Once you've safely made it back, you can now use the 5th save crystal. Because we're now about to face off against the Skater Boy, who's possibly the hardest one of the 3 humans in this level to kill. So get ready behind this pillar and wait for him to come down, and then come up behind him and try to stay behind him the whole time. As you can see, look, if you stand right in front of him, then he kills you almost instantly with the Uzis. So this might take you a few tries, but just be patient and you'll eventually get there. You'll get to the point where you get a perfect setup and you can just stay behind him the whole time and not worry about dying. But it might take a few attempts. There you go. So when he's dead, pick up the Uzis, which has fallen between his legs. And then come over here to pick up these Uzi clips. And be very careful not to fall down here, because all of it is lava. Trust me, it would not be very good if you fell down there. So then pick up these Uzi clips. And come round here. But first, don't forget to come over here. And pick up these Uzi clips. Like I forgot and had to come back. And if you look, this is safe to fall through. In some water. Sip through for the 3rd and final secret of the level. With a small medipack, some Uzi clips, and a large medipack. If you're struggling with the Skater Boy, you can jump down here if you can get there quickly enough. And then you can swim up here to try and shoot at him from a vantage point. But don't forget, the human enemies have guns, so they can still hit you from where you are. Or from where they are. They can still hit you where you are. And safely drop down. And make your way through here. Now you can use the 6th save crystal just here. And be careful, as 3 boulders are going to come rolling down. Seems like that one didn't roll very far. There you go, so that one came down there. So yeah, just be careful of all the boulders. And then make your way up here. Whoops. We'll try that again. Looks like that one's a standing jump and not a running jump. Just make sure to set off the one on the left first, then the one on the middle. Try not to get crushed by the one on the right as well. They all have different trigger points, so just avoid them all if you can. And then, oh, come up and around here. And climb up without dying. And then climb up here. And then get ready to solve a nice, long, convoluted rock puzzle. So push this one twice. We'll come back to that later. Climb up here. Push this one once. Sorry, not push it. Pull this one. And then push it to the side. Drop down here. And pull this one out one. And then this is going to open up a gap to push the block that I said we were going to come back to. So make your way down to that one. And now we can push it once more. To run up here and pull this lever, which then opens the door that we saw just a second ago. So we can now make our way back up to the door. Push this block once. You'll see the door closes too quickly for us to get through. So instead pull this lever, which opens the door next to the lever we pulled a few seconds ago. So come around there.
Say cheese!
And now we can get through and use the 7th and final save crystal and take out the last dude. So just stay behind him, make sure that he can't shoot you, and you should have no issues. Unlike what I just did there.
Say cheese!
There you go. So now that he's finally dead, make your way over here. And jump up each one of these with just a standing jump after jumping backwards. And then jump onto the far tile. Just slide down here. So you can then run through and pull this switch. Which will open this door for us with our last 3 pickups. Some Uzi clips, a large medipack, and the rather elegant pyramid key. Now all that's left to do, after your long, arduous journey through this level, is to use the key and finish the level with 3 kills, 30 pickups, and all 3 secrets in 29 minutes and 51 seconds. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one when we tackle Atlantis.